Chosen one, pause for a moment, because amid all the noise of life, God is drawing you near so that you may hear a word capable of opening a new chapter in your journey. This is not the time to continue chasing what exhausts your mind, nor is it a meaningless moment passing casually through your day. An awakening is taking place, quiet yet powerful, like dawn, beginning to drive away the night before human eyes can see the sun. I want you to listen with a peaceful heart, because what is being prepared will not only change the circumstances around you, but will also renew the way you see yourself, the way you walk through trials, and the way you receive the good things you once believed you were unworthy to possess. I know you have traveled roads that were far from easy. There were battles you could not share with anyone because words were too small to express the weight you carried. There were nights when your body remained still while your mind continued to wrestle with disappointment, broken promises, and all the times you had to rise by yourself when no one remained beside you to offer support. You tried to appear strong before everyone, while inwardly longing for a safe place where you could breathe without having to explain yourself. I saw all of it. I saw every time you wiped away your tears and stepped outside as though nothing had happened. I heard every brief prayer spoken when you no longer had enough strength to form a complete sentence. Not one moment of your life has been forgotten, and not one sincere sorrow has fallen without being held by God. Therefore, today I want to remind you that the season of hardship does not have the authority to continue forever. What once surrounded you is not the final judgment over your life. A new door is gradually opening. But first you must release the old conclusions you have carried about yourself. You are not someone destined always to fail. You were not born to be left behind. You are not meant only to watch others rejoice while you remain forever outside. Those negative words have followed you for too long, causing you to doubt even when something good draws near. Let them fall away. You cannot enter a new land while carrying every chain from the old one. Change begins when you stop calling your wound your identity and stop using the past to predict the future. The calling of God does not arrive as chaos that fills you with fear. It often appears through an unexpected peace, a clear thought that returns repeatedly, or a gentle stirring that lets you know you need to change direction. Perhaps you felt it at a moment when every road appeared closed, and then another choice emerged. Perhaps it came when you were close to despair and encouragement reached you at exactly the right time. Or when you chose to leave what was draining you, even though you did not yet know what lay ahead. Those moments do not need to be loud in order to be sacred. True guidance is often gentle, but it possesses enough endurance to draw you out of a place where you have remained trapped for far too long. Beloved, I did not shape you to spend your entire life making yourself smaller. I do not want you to use all your years asking others for permission to be yourself. The light within you was not given so that you could compete for attention, but so that dark places might become warmer through your presence. You do not need to speak more loudly than everyone else. You only need to live more truthfully. You do not have to prove that you are special through impressive declarations. You need only preserve kindness when others choose bitterness. Preserve integrity when dishonesty appears easier. And preserve hope when circumstances try to convince you that everything is over. The way you live through small things will reveal the strength God is placing within you. Remember Joseph, who was pushed into suffering by those closest to him, deprived of his freedom, and repeatedly treated unjustly despite having done nothing worthy of condemnation. If each day of his story were viewed separately, his life would appear to be a chain of failure. Yet what people called delay became a season of preparation. The place that seemed to imprison him became a school where wisdom was developed. The betrayal that caused him pain was ultimately unable to prevent a greater purpose from being fulfilled. I remind you of his story, not to tell you to endure every wrongdoing in silence, but to help you understand that what happened before does not necessarily possess the authority to determine what happens next. Rejection taught you not to place your entire worth in the eyes of others. Separation helped you recognize who truly values your presence. Seasons of lack taught you how to manage, appreciate, and build with patience. Even your mistakes, when viewed honestly, can become teachers that lead you toward maturity. God does not delight in your pain, but He can transform what once caused you shame into a foundation for compassion. Turn a memory that once weakened you into encouragement for another person, and make the place where you once fell become the place where you learned how to stand. Yet do not merely sit and wait for change without cooperating with what is opening before you. When a new door appears, you must have the courage to step through it. If I lead you away from an environment that drains you, do not return simply because the familiar feels less frightening. If you are given an opportunity to learn, prepare yourself diligently. If you desire a peaceful life, stop feeding unnecessary conflict. If you desire a stable financial future, begin by making wise decisions with what you presently possess. Faith is not passivity. Faith is believing that you are being guided and then placing your feet upon the road even before you can see the entire journey. I know you once believed you had to become perfect before you could be used for anything good. But God does not wait for all your flaws to disappear before loving you or entrusting responsibility to you. He seeks a heart willing to listen, willing to change, and unwilling to let pride hide the truth. You can carry light even while you are still learning how to heal. You can encourage others even though you have also known days of weakness. You can open a new path even if you once walked in the wrong direction many times. Humility will keep the gift within you from becoming pride, while gratitude will help you remember that every good thing is not given merely to lift you higher, but also to make you a source of strength for others. Now, look back upon your journey, not with bitterness, but with renewed eyes. You survived seasons you once believed would drown you. You passed through closed doors and still discovered another way. You were wounded, yet your heart did not become entirely cold. This proves that there is still a flame within you that refuses to go out. I do not want you to use that flame to burn those who caused you pain. I want you to use it to illuminate, warm, and build. The noblest strength is not found in returning to others what they did to you, but in refusing to allow their darkness to turn you into someone you never desired to become. Beloved, the new chapter is opening, not because every difficulty will disappear immediately, but because you will no longer face those difficulties as the person you once were. You have become deeper, wiser, and more aware of the value of peace. Continue without rushing, but do not delay because of fear. What once appeared to be delay is gradually revealing itself as preparation. What once appeared to be rejection is leading you away from places incapable of nurturing your future. An unfinished masterpiece has not been forgotten. The hand of God is still at work, and every line of your life is being joined into a story more meaningful than anything you once imagined. Rise in peace, preserve a pure heart, and walk toward the light, because you are no longer at the beginning, and brighter days are waiting for you through an open door. You have traveled through a season filled with trials, doubt, and nights when heaven appeared silent. But now, the period of waiting is drawing to a close so that you may enter your season of rising. I know there were times when you looked upward and wondered whether your prayers were truly being heard. You whispered quiet words in an empty room, wiped away your tears before stepping outside with a calm expression, and tried to preserve faith even though no sign appeared before you that anything would change. There were days when you had to gather every remaining fragment of strength simply to complete ordinary tasks while an unseen battle was taking place within you. But beloved, not one of those moments has been forgotten. Every time you endured one more day, chose hope instead of despair, and refused to let bitterness possess your heart, you were being formed into someone stronger than you realized. The tears that once made you believe you were weak were actually watering seeds hidden deep within you. Sleepless nights that exhausted you also taught you to distinguish between the voice of fear and the gentle guidance that comes from what is holy. Prayers that seemed unanswered did not vanish into emptiness. They became stones laid in the foundation of a new season that you could not yet see during your hardest days. I never stood at a distance and watched you struggle alone. I was beside you when you trembled, but continued walking. When you had no answers, but preserved integrity. And even when you possessed only enough strength to sigh instead of pray, the fact that you could not see me does not mean you were abandoned. Often, the deepest companionship takes place in silence, where you are guided through each turn and only much later understand why you were not permitted to follow another road. Now, I want you to stop calling the past years useless. They were not a barren wilderness, but a place where your roots developed so they could one day support wider branches. When a seed is placed beneath the ground, those outside see only disappearance. It is covered, surrounded by darkness, and appears to be buried under many layers of soil. Yet, inside its small shell, life is beginning to move. It cracks open not because it is being destroyed, but because its former shape is no longer large enough for the new life growing within. You have passed through a similar process. Certain things within you had to break apart, limiting beliefs. Relationships that caused you to diminish yourself. Fears that imprisoned you in familiar confinement. And the need to receive approval from everyone. That breaking was painful, but it was not the end. It was evidence that life was finding its way toward the light. Therefore, the past must not become a stone pressing down upon your future. What you endured was not sent to bury you, but has been transformed into nourishment for your growth. Betrayal taught you to choose people with discernment. Loss taught you what is truly precious. Beginning again showed you that you can rise more than once. Seasons of misunderstanding taught you not to build your worth upon praise or human approval. All of these things are now being joined together like pieces that once appeared disconnected. I am bringing them into their proper places so that you may recognize that even the most painful roads can become a foundation for a higher purpose. Your season is not merely a season of leaving hardship behind, but also a season of blossoming. Yet a flower does not bloom merely to admire itself. It releases fragrance to beautify the space around it. The light within you is the same. I am not awakening you so that you can prove you are more outstanding than others. I am calling you to rise so that the weary may see hope through the way you live, and so that those who believe they can never recover may recognize that a road home still exists. The peace you gained after the storm will become a refuge for someone else. The compassion formed from healed wounds will enable you to reach people that harsh words could never touch. When you walk according to the purpose entrusted to you, your light will not make others feel small. It will remind them that light can also be kindled within their own lives. You may still be asking why you are being called at this moment. I did not choose you because you never made mistakes, nor because you were always stronger than everyone else. I saw a heart that had been broken but refused to become cruel. A person who experienced delay but did not completely abandon faith. And someone who grew weary many times yet preserved gentleness. That is what makes you more prepared than you realize. True strength is not found in an appearance without cracks. It is found in the ability to continue loving after being hurt. Continue believing in what is good after disappointment. And continue walking before the entire road is illuminated. You were not born to live forever beneath the shadow of what happened. You were created to transform experience into wisdom, tears into compassion, and seasons that appeared lost into a testimony of restoration. The urgency you feel is not meant to produce fear, but to awaken awareness. I do not want you to enter the new season with your old mindset. If a great door opens while you continue carrying the habit of self-doubt, you may stand before an opportunity without daring to receive it. If something good arrives while you still believe you are unworthy, you may reject with your own hands what you once prayed to receive. Therefore, preparation is just as important as breakthrough. Reorder your life. Complete what remains unfinished. And stop delaying decisions you already know must be made. Adjust how you use your time. Protect your health. Choose carefully which voices you listen to. And establish boundaries against what continually drains your peace. A new season requires someone capable of taking responsibility for what is entrusted to them. Not merely someone excited to receive blessing. Pieces are being moved in ways you may not immediately understand. A door closing may be releasing you from a place that no longer fits. A changing relationship may be making space for healthier connections. A delayed plan may be keeping you from entering something before the foundation is ready. Do not look at each movement separately and conclude that everything is chaotic, when a greater picture is being arranged. Some pieces must be lifted from their old positions before they can find their proper place. I want you to preserve peace throughout that process. You do not need to force everything to happen according to your preferred timing, nor chase doors that require you to betray your values before entering. What truly belongs to you will not require you to lose your integrity in order to keep it. When your time to rise arrives, do not confuse haste with faith. Rising does not mean rushing forward without thought. It means no longer avoiding responsibility, no longer using the past to justify delay, and beginning to take the step already placed before you. Your first step may be very small: submitting an application, beginning a project, ending a harmful habit, reopening a necessary conversation, or allowing yourself to rest after spending years proving your worth. Do not despise a small step, because great journeys often begin with a quiet decision for which no one applauds. What matters is that you move with awareness and steady trust, no longer waiting for every fear to disappear before acting. Beloved, lift your head. The season of being buried has completed its work, and the soil that once placed pressure upon you is becoming the ground from which you rise. You do not need to carry every wound into the next chapter. Keep the wisdom and lay down the burdens that no longer belong to you. I am calling you back to purpose. inner freedom, and a life no longer controlled by the fear of failure. Remain alert to the opportunities approaching, but also discerning toward anything dazzling that carries no peace. Be ready to receive what is good while remaining mature enough to manage it with humility. This is not the moment to retreat into your former shadow. This is the time to rise. Step forward and allow the light refined through many dark seasons to become a lamp guiding both you and the people who will be touched through your life. Beloved, while the world around you trembles in chaos and uncertainty, I am calling you away from what is old and into a profound renewal that has already begun within your life. You have seen many people cling tightly to what is familiar simply because they fear change, even when those very things no longer produce life, peace, or hope. They choose to remain inside a familiar cage because the open door before them makes them anxious. But you were not created to live forever within the boundaries of the past. I placed within you the ability to see beyond present circumstances and a sensitivity that helps you recognize that when one season is ending, it is not the time to cling desperately to what is leaving, but the time to prepare for what is new. Everything around you may be shifting so quickly that you have not yet been able to understand it. But do not be afraid. Not every shaking comes to destroy. Some shakings are permitted so that weak foundations may be revealed, and you will no longer build your future upon something incapable of supporting you. Remember the man who faithfully built a great vessel beneath a clear sky when there was no outward sign that such work would ever be necessary. The laughter of the crowd did not cause him to stop, because he understood that human approval could never replace the deep conviction within him. Every plank he laid was an act of trust, and every day he continued working was another decision to choose obedience instead of the fear of ridicule. You are also building shelter for your future through the quiet choices you make today. When you change an unhealthy habit, you lay down another plank. When you learn how to manage your money, time, and emotions, you strengthen the vessel. When you leave a connection that exhausts you or courageously establish boundaries with someone who does not value you, you seal the openings through which the waters of chaos once entered. Others may not understand why you are changing, but you do not need them to understand everything in order to continue walking. The renewal taking place within you is not merely a series of small outward adjustments. I am rearranging the way you see yourself, the way you respond to adversity, and the way you use what has been entrusted to you. Your mind is being sharpened so that you no longer believe every voice that plants fear. Your strength is gradually being restored after long seasons of forcing yourself to endure. Your heart is learning to love without losing its boundaries. Forgive without returning to the place where you were wounded. And remain generous without allowing others to exploit your goodness. You may already sense these changes in small ways. You no longer react as strongly as before. No longer feel the need to explain yourself to everyone, and no longer want to chase places that offer only temporary approval. These are signs of maturity. You are beginning to understand that peace is more valuable than winning an argument. Integrity is more valuable than temporary benefit, and self-respect cannot be exchanged for any relationship. The people around you may begin to see you differently, not because you are trying to create a perfect image, but because your presence has become calmer and clearer. When a person is no longer controlled by fear, they carry a steadiness others can feel. When you enter a room without the need to be noticed, that very peacefulness may naturally draw attention toward you. The light I placed within you was not given for display or to make you believe you are above others. It was given so that you could soften a tense atmosphere, carry hope into despair, and help those who have lost direction recognize that they can begin again. You do not need grand words to prove this. Sometimes one kind attitude, one timely sentence, or the ability to listen without judgment is enough to change someone's entire day. True light does not demand praise, it simply shines. I have not called you to disappear into the crowd until you lose your voice and your values. Yet standing apart does not mean constantly seeking attention or proving that you are special. Your difference is revealed in the way you preserve purity in an environment filled with calculation. Choose sincerity when dishonesty appears easier, and remain kind after being wounded. Darkness wants you to live in confusion, because a person who does not know who they are can easily be directed by the opinions of others. But you are being led into clarity. You will no longer choose a road merely because you fear being left behind, nor accept an invitation simply because its appearance is impressive. You will learn to examine the deeper result of every decision. Will this make you more honest, help you mature, and protect your peace and dignity? That discernment will become protection that deception cannot easily penetrate. Every trial you faced contributed to making this strength more enduring. Some people believed they could defeat you through rejection, silence, or betrayal, but they did not know that you had already learned to rise from the lowest places. Certain circumstances made you believe you had lost everything, but in that very moment, you discovered that you still possessed faith, courage, and the ability to begin again. You are like the young man who once stood before an opponent, far greater in size and experience. He did not try to wear another person's armor, because what did not fit him would only make his steps heavy. He used what had been developed during the days when no one was watching. In the same way, you do not need to copy another person's road in order to win your own battle. The experience, ability, perseverance, and discernment you have gathered are exactly what you need for the next step. The dreams you once stored away are not necessarily unrealistic fantasies, but you must also approach them with responsibility. A genuine dream does not only move your emotions, it also urges you to learn, prepare, and remain faithful in small tasks. If you desire to build something of value, begin by strengthening the foundation. If you want to be entrusted with greater responsibility, manage well what you already possess. If you want your voice to reach many people, learn to speak with sincerity rather than display. What you endured was not punishment, but a quiet school teaching you lessons that early success might never have provided. Every tear made your heart more tender. Every disappointment helped you distinguish what is lasting from what merely glitters. And every step backward gave you an opportunity to see where your foundation still needed strengthening. You are not merely trying to survive a difficult season. You are being prepared to carry a purpose greater than personal comfort. What I placed within you will not benefit you alone, but will become a source of strength for those you meet along the road. Healed wounds will help you sit beside someone in pain without rushing to judge them. The lack you once experienced will teach you to use abundance with gratitude and generosity. The days when you lost your way will help you remain patient with those who have not yet found theirs. This is how suffering is transformed into purpose. I do not glorify pain, but I can redeem what once caused you sorrow so that it no longer remains a burden, but becomes wisdom serving what is good. Therefore, beloved, Enter the new season with awareness rather than haste, with courage but without pride, and with faith that remains joined to responsibility. Do not wait for everyone to agree before you begin doing what you know is right. Care for your health. Reorder your priorities. Complete what remains unfinished, and release concerns that no longer serve your higher purpose. You do not need to become another person in order to be used. You need only allow what is most truthful within you to be purified, matured, and illuminated. The world does not need another person struggling to become like everyone else. The world needs the kindness, integrity, peace, and courage that you gained only by passing through many trials. I refined you not so that you would remain forever inside the fire, but so that you could step out carrying strength, discernment, and a light gentle enough to heal, yet steady enough that darkness cannot extinguish it.